Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Deadfire with me, Bring It On. Let's return to the central stacks and enter the restricted section from the other side. And hopefully not make the librarians angry at the same time. So as of right now, I'm not sure where to go for Bakarna's grimoire and where to restore it. But we haven't explored everything yet, so maybe we'll just stumble across the answer as we go. That's usually how I handle things anyway. No need to stir the pot now. Kinda sad seeing those books strewn across the floor. There's no librarians to pick them up.
You must gather your party.
That's what they get for getting uppity. The text on these pages appears to have been reproduced by some manner of stamp. I believe we've read that before. The History of Aora, Volume 5, The Great Orlan Empire. Engwith could not abide a competitor, and certainly not a rival. They found both in the Orlan Empire of the Northern Valleys. More insulting than the Empire's mere existence at the edge of Engwith's territory was the Orlan schema of social organization, which tended toward the communal, non-hierarchical, and animist. This was at odds with the Engwithans' veneration of the individual, the import they ascribed to social position, their unyielding devotion to codified religious dogma.
Right. Enemies ahead. I bring your aid. Missed. Yeah, there's our. Up in.
And here comes some more.
Hey.
It looks like we have this under control regardless.
That wasn't it.
I don't think I want Facine on the front line unless she has all of her buffs up, which she doesn't.
There.
That's not very
That's really satisfying to see.
helpful.
Let's go.
Beyond sick. No.
Oh gosh, okay. Let's get a heal out.
Focus.
Take him down. Yeah.
Just keep pouring in, don't they? Phantom. I do want to get her to safety, but I don't think that we can. Looks like the Phantom's going to engage with her.
Lava.
There we go. Pull her back behind my main character.
Beyond sea.
All thick word. Raw.
Can't cast with her yet.
I bring your end.
Lava. Beyond sea.
What now?
Oh,
That dog won't hunt.
then there was one.
Lava. Beyond sea.
Take him down.
There's a weapon. I shall deal with this one. Aye? Of course.
Will do.
This does ring a bell. Let's read it anyway. Notes on a vanished Orlan. A petite, one-eared fellow knocked on our door. I had heard of him before. He seeks answers from the obscured, or maybe not. Pestering temples of the faith wherever he goes. I was about to dismiss him, but then he shifted into the Autumn Stelgar before my eyes, so this is Harabius. I beckoned him inside at once, and sat him down, after he had resumed his form. Then I retrieved the box. My mother gave me the box, just as she received it from her mother. Every daughter of our line is instructed to keep the box firmly shut, though Galawain's messenger finds us. I explained this to the little man. We both thought it was interesting that he, smaller than his average kin, stood exactly as tall as the box when set upon its end. We unlatched the lid together. It opened a small staircase leading down to lightless, impossible depths. Without hesitation, the Orlan planted a kiss on my cheek, shouldered his pack, and descended, closing the way behind him. When I opened it again, I found only the bottom of an empty box. Hope he finds the answers he seeks. Barring that, may his search be a worthy one. Harabius, the companion from the first game, was on a quest to determine whether or not he should follow Weil or Galawain. That's old news. And this is new news. History of Eora, Volume 8, The Construction of Divine Titans. At the heart of all creatures lie two things, a soul and a seed. A soul needs a seed to grow the body to house it, and the stronger the soul, the more powerful the body. Even a god needs a physical form to act in the material world. We can't create souls, but we can control them. We can smash them together, tear them apart, and sew them all back together again. But we can't grow a body large enough to house the harvest of a god's soul, unless we can create the proper seed. But then, how do you teach an object its purpose?
I've got it.
The papers smell faintly of ozone. History of Eora, Volume 10, The Man Who Would Be Skyne. Cretus quickly installed himself as Nua's most favored advisor, and set about tearing the Gwithan establishment apart from within. His lies turned the powerful against one another, and his forgeries undermined trade negotiations a decade in the making. There was money to be made in exploiting the Discord, but he didn't line his own pockets with it. He surreptitiously handed it among the populace. When his quiet rebellion was eventually uncovered, he was tortured near to death, presented with a choice. but his skills to work for the people he'd striven to destroy, or die at the hands of church inquisitors. And Cretus kept his life, at least for a time.
On it.
Alright, so we've seen this one before as well. That's from Defiance Bay, when that one area flooded. The History of Eora, Volume 6, The History of the Wilders. Engwith was not the only empire. It was not even the first. It was just the most ruthless in its domination of the world. Eora has known other histories since the first gods crafted it. Histories wrought not in Audra and copper wire, but in the epic poetry of scent and song sung by Kith beyond Kith hearing. Mix up those two words. Open your ears to the whisper of the free places. You'll know the tale of the Ogre Queen and the Vithrak assemblage. Still your tongue, and you'll taste the cook fires of a Zorip city that hides from the eye, but extends to the horizon. Look, and you will see.
Yes, I shall.
Loot that. Recipe: Invigorating Nightmares. The initiates have been at it again, mixing dangerous stimulants to stay alert during long shifts. This time I found them milking the essence of night terrors from our collection's guests, so I had to tarry and watch the results for myself. The concoction backfired rather spectacularly, and gave them all a good night's rest. They awoke reasonably efficient, though much disturbed. The recipe is drawn out with simple illustrations. Even an imp could read it. I think both of those are old news as well. Oh, it looks like I missed this as well.
Will do. Nope.
History and Contradictions, Volume 2, The Huana. The Huana have conflated their cultural history with fanciful tales of divinely gifted stewardship. The most prevalent example is a myth involving three guardians who accepted a covenant from their resident fish goddess, Ngati. In exchange for their vow to protect the islands, the tribes, and the luminous Audra, the guardians received the boon of water shaping. Water shaping is indeed a remarkable talent, but there's no evidence to suggest that it's divinely sourced. Where comes this talk of covenants, then? There are other tales, ones which suggested that the great kings and queens of Ukaizo made compacts with dragons. What if the long and undocumented millennia, like an oyster turning sand into a pearl, layered a myth around the reality? The account continues along this vein, but its findings are largely speculative. Let's check out this door first. Feels more dead-endy. Doesn't have these sconces in front of it either.
I've got it. I bring your end.
Moe, Ixie, Ona.
Yeah!
Happy to.
Lavaru, Dion Sik.
Alright, keep the pressure. Well, everyone except for Alof. I get her in here, and AoE stun.
Much blood.
Yeah.
Exit honor.
Something you need?
Let's have her do that. Go ahead and brand this librarian.
Mow
See,
Oh, down she goes.
Aye?
Let's go.
What do you need?
Happy to oblige. I'll light the dark. Happy to oblige. What now? Happy to oblige. I hear you. What now? Happy to oblige.
I've read that already.
On it.
You've read that. A very good farmer. Every page of this tome is filled with closely packed writing and illustrations. One passage reads, St. Wydwin pursed his lips and stared down the glowing, glowering visage which peered at him from between stalks of Vorlus. He gripped the wooden shaft of his scythe, slick with sweat from his palms, the hands of a working man, which he was. Then you're Aethys then, he said. That I am, said the god. Then you already know what I want, said the farmer, who is Wydwin. That I do. Wydwin unknotted the taut cord, which restrained his ponytail, and let the flowing, flowering locks cascade around his shoulders, and rest over the shelf of his bosom. He winked and cleared his throat before winking again. Okay, this is fanfic. I've got a candle. Hasn't been lit properly. Aethys moved closer and... The passage cuts off abruptly with a series of jagged notes pressed deeply into the parchment. Eora is not ready for this.
What now?
Warden Contract. This aged, brittle contract details an agreement between an assemblage of Vithrak explorers and agents of Wile made upon the Vithrak's arrival in the Halls Obscured. In exchange for fresh, ample sustenance and a dry place to establish their nest, the Vithrak agreed to serve as the wardens of the collections in perpetuity. And we've read that before.
I've got it.
The History of Eora, Volume 9, The Birth of Engwyth. In the time before Kith invented time, or mathematics, or architecture, an insular tribe of goatherds dwelt at the bottom of a steep mountain valley. They made their homes in caves on sheer cliffsides. When the sun set, they watched the stars wheel through the void of night. In their watching, they developed a theory of the nature of things, and so began a quest to make it true.
Will do.
This wooden metal contraption bears a superficial resemblance to a guillotine, but it appears to be for killing the written word. It's neat. The shallow wooden box is filled with cast metal Adeiran letters, but they're backwards and coated in dried ink.
On it.
Think this is new? On Celestial Spectres, visitors from farther than beyond. This logbook contains interview notes and statements surrounding unusual celestial activity. One page has been dog-eared, and a passage enthusiastically underlined. Subject followed the descent of a falling star, and their testimony asserted that angry spirits patrolled the impact crater. Subject narrowly escaped and later complained of dizziness, loss of memory, and headaches. This is a reference to abductions, UFO abductions. Our resident animancer confirmed our suspicion that subject had lost a significant sum of essence in a ragged pattern, almost as if it had been chewed away. Recommend permanent internment in one of the Kith habitats. Few words scribbled in the margins read: territorial, hungry, sacrificed by self or proxy. The lower half of the page shows an artist's rendering of a fallen star. The History of Eora, Volume 7, the Three-Body Agreement. The representatives of two great empires met in the seat of the third, and Engwith, Yazuha, and Ukaizo agreed upon an exchange. For land and power, Ukaizo would give Engwith a home for their research. For able soldiers, Yazuha would allow Engwith to spread their faith. So it was that Ukaizo conquered the Deadfire, the Yazuhans conquered Yesh, or Yesh, or Yeshi, and Engwith made willing conspirators of them all. A true and accurate account of the Ten's final stand. The inside cover of this text has a gilded stamp of authenticity from an organization claiming to record accurate historical records. When his forces rounded the bend, the defenders planted their feet in the stones of Evon Dur and braced themselves for his coming. His countrymen salivated with anticipation of the battle, but he only looked upon the shattered defenses with collected calm. They really expected 10 of you to stand against the dawn, he intoned, lighting his pipe and pocketing the tinder. Reckon you're gonna have a hard time standing in our way. Plans to march right over you, folk, and stick anyone between with a pike. Nothing personal about it, so here we go. Such were the last words of Saint Adair before the Godhammer bomb cauterized him from the world. Interesting. Is that an alternate reality? This section is restricted. Okay. I'm gonna run in anyway.
I hear you.
Alright, I'm just gonna let Facina sit tight until she casts spells again.
All thick Worthen.
Which will be any day now.
That's not
This cannot last.
Any day.
No.
This is futile. Yeah?
Moeth, Ixie, Alma. What now?
Alright, so I can't use fire damage against either one of these guys, but I can use raw damage.
Hey.
Son of a
That's
cur!
not very helpful.
That's an attack, I guess. Please.
Lava beyond seek.
Alright, we'll send her into melee.
Lava beyond seek.
Take him down.
Lava. This is futile.
Oh, it's not futile? You're doing a great job, Alon.
Lava. Oh? Let's hang it out! Aye.
Nice.
Indeed.
I've got it.
Hey, Shea's War Staff. It's a quarterstaff, superb, and combat casting. Concentration for 8 seconds on critical hit melee attacks. Though she vanished over a century ago, the Arcane Knight Shea remains a cautionary tale in her native Adir. Sworn to a powerful noble house of the Empire, Shea never abandoned a fascination in animancy harbored since her time at the Academy. She pursued her illicit interest patiently, slowly building a laboratory in her quarters at her Earl's estate. When he uncovered her activities, he promised not to report her as a recompense for years of service, as long as she disposed of the illegal instruments. She agreed, clearing her room of every beaker and book. Unfortunately, she moved them into the rented basement of a shop in the nearby village, and was shortly exposed by a local priest of Wodica. When the Earl's leniency came to light, he suffered a profound forfeiture of wealth and levied fines, and an even greater loss of face. Shea fled the Empire, crossing the sea into the Deadfire. After a brief hiatus in Nakataka, she chartered passage on a ship, I cannot read today. She chartered passage on a ship back west to the mainland nation of Abbott. The sloop never arrived at its destination, provoking many apocryphal tales, and 2 popular stage plays, for the horrific results of Shea's experiments at sea. I didn't look at the upgrades. Arcane Infusion, plus 5% damage is raw, and Channeled Strike, plus 15% hit to crit chance in melee for 10 seconds after casting a spell. I know what's going on.
Yes? Indeed.
The words are getting jumbled today. A small plaque reads, "The 2 took land and soldiers from the 1, and they both gave everything in return." Okay. It looks as though a book could be placed here.
On it.
A small plaque reads, "A hero of the people fell and rose a servant of the crown." Yeah, I think that's the man who would be Skyn. The two took land and soldiers from the one. That would be the birth of Anguith, right? No. The three-body agreement. A small plaque reads, "They looked upon the world as it was and were unsatisfied, so they remade it as they thought it should be." And that's the birth of Anguith. A small plaque reads, "They built an empire founded on compassion, and were crushed for their audacity." And that should be the Great Orlan Empire. An intricate device crafted from copper and odger sits before you, radiating a low hum. Press your ear to the device. Gears click and whir beneath the device's skin. After a few moments listening, a faint tap-tap sound on the inside. Tap-tap, tap-tap-tap. It stops. Lay your palm against the device. The low buzz grows and deepens until the inside of your ears begin to itch. Then it abruptly ceases, and you hear a click.
Aye?
Huzzah!
Of course.
Okay, so this takes us to the vault. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna call it here. Next time, we'll go into the vault. Looks like a hidden door, or wall, doesn't it? Yeah, next time we'll go back into the vault in the central stacks and maybe go meet Mora. But for now, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next one.